Hello and welcome back to another episode of Tiger Eye. We have a fantastic episode for you this week, talking about bus safety with Julia. Next, a spring sports overview with Alex. And Anthony will be taking a look into the nursing fundamentals class, doing their annual shave of students and staff that want to participate. But first, let's get this week started with bus safety.
Bus drivers spend about 270 miles on the road and 16 and a half hours in the bus each week. As wrecks have happened that cause buses to be late, it brings a light into problems with bus safety. I talked to Head of Transportation, Ashley Martin.
So some of the challenges with safety is right now we're seeing an increased problem with stop arm violations, which means when the buses stop and students are being picked up or dropped off, there are still cars passing those stop school signs.
I just think they're not paying attention. They're either on their phone or they're talking, or they think, oh boy, it's a bus, they're getting ready to stop, I can beat them.
Last year we had 2 students almost get hit by cars, and when I mean almost get hit, I mean they were very, very, very close to being hit by cars. And both of those incidents occurred early in the morning.
Luckily, my stops are that where I have the most issue with that. My kids are getting off on the side of the bus. So, but if that stop was a stop that they were having to cross the road, yes, my kids would have gotten hit a couple of times.
While dealing with wrecks in front of them, bus drivers have to get students to and from home and school safely and in a timely manner.
So once they start driving a bus, not only do they have to remember those skills they learned during their training, but now they have to worry about keeping all the students on the bus safe.
I would say it's reliable because I get home safely, and most of the time I get on time.
Since September, there have only been 11 accidents involving a school bus. With such a low number of accidents, it can only be achieved through a ton of training.
So from a training perspective, school bus drivers go through rigorous training. It starts out with a background check to make sure they don't have any violations to prevent them from getting a CDL. Then they have to take a 3-day bus class, which is very intensive. They have to pass 4 tests, and those tests are not easy. These are based on federal requirements. Once they complete and pass all 4 tests, they're then subjected to several days of training behind the wheel.
Students have to be very careful when driving around the school because of the large number of buses dropping off students and the large number of new drivers. Lincoln Westmoreland talks about what he does to stay safe.
People who are like 16 and 18, like within those age ranges, then they're more likely to crash. I keep like 2 or 3 car length distance away from the bus because that'd probably be like the worst thing to hit a bus.
Younger drivers mixed with people who are unsafe on the road can create a dangerous environment. What can drivers do to make sure that they take a load off the bus drivers?
Just pay extra attention. Don't try to beat the bus or get around the bus.
So I would say maintain just a good speed. Don't be speeding. If you see a school bus, keep a good distance behind it. We want everybody to be safe on the road.
Bus drivers have to deal with a lot, so it's important to be patient when driving around a bus to make sure that everyone can stay safe. Back to you, Heather.
Thanks, Julia. The importance of bus safety cannot be overstated. And with our next season of sports starting up, our athletes will be using them, which is why Alex is doing an overview of spring sports.
Spring sports are upon us. It's finally that time of year. The warm weather is back, along with 5 more sports for your Tigers to take over. We got track, baseball, softball, men's tennis, men's golf, and women's soccer. It's sure to be another impressive spring season for your Tigers, looking to build off of all the hard work they put in last year. The Fred T. Ford track team, led by head coach Robert Ogle, are looking to improve on an already great season last year, with 13 athletes making it to regionals. There are 8 sprinting events along with 4 distance events, all run on a 400-meter track by some of the fastest people in the conference. There are also 6 field events, including jumping, throwing, and pole vaulting. The team practices every day, following a pretty concrete routine to prepare them for a meet.
So a typical track practice looks like everyone does their warm-up laps, 2 or 4 depending on if the distance has a hard workout, and then the distance go off, do their own workout and stretches, and then the sprinters do their own. And then once the sprinters are done with their first set of stretches, they do a second set of stretches, and then they start their workout. Distance does up to like 35-something miles. Sprinters, they just do their own thing with a bunch of sprints and block works.
Usually speed work with the track, but sometimes it is just really hard mileage, trying to build up our endurance.
The goal is simple: be the first to cross the line. And anybody can run, of course. And so what separates a good track runner from a great one?
A good track runner can have all the talent in the world, but if they don't put in the work, they're not going to be great. So you could have someone who goes just to be like, go through the motions and everything like that, but if they don't put in the work, if they don't go the extra mile, then they're never going to be a great track runner. Talent will never outdo work.
That's what separates good from great, because great sits there and strives to be better. They see that there's improvement to be made, and they will improve, and they improve a whole lot faster than good ones.
The baseball and softball teams are two different squads on the same mission, which is to win, to keep on winning. Both teams are evidently used to it, finishing 4th in their respective conferences last year. Led by Coach Vogel, the baseball team went 17-7, holding a 10-4 record in their conference. The softball team went 9-12 with a 9-5 record in their conference, led by Coach Willis. Being at bat is a feeling like no other, everyone having their own way of dealing with the pressure.
I just try to not stress out about what's going on because obviously we're going to face really good pitchers. So I just have to keep telling myself that I know I can do it, I can hit the ball, I can do what Coach K tells me. So I just try to keep my head clear and just think, see ball, hit ball.
Practice makes perfect, said by everyone ever. While a cliche, it couldn't be more true. It relieves some of that pressure, knowing that this is what you do every single day. Practice, though, doesn't look the same for every sport.
We usually start out with stretching and a little bit of running. Then we throw. We usually take infield, outfield, work on defense, and then we usually head to the cages.
We do ladders, so we do like in and out, in and out, in and out. And then we do a drill where we run around a cone and then run and catch the ball. And then we do hitting sometimes first or fielding, and then sometimes we do live pitching and base running.
While pressure on batters is widely discussed as it is, Josh Swang deals with the pressure of pitching.
When I'm pitching, I'm usually thinking about what pitch to throw, where to throw it, depending on if it's a left-handed batter or right-handed batter.
The tennis team went 8-3 last year, 4-2 in the conference, finishing 2nd. Behind me are the 6 courts that the top 6 people on the team play on, which are essentially your 6 starters. Anderson Wright is in the top 6 for both singles and doubles and has something different to offer for both matches.
Usually I like to stretch my legs out and get them all limber and loose for the tennis match, because usually there's a lot of running, so I need to make sure I'm all limber and loose, make sure I don't catch a cramp.
The men's golf team made it considerably deep into the playoffs last year, with the whole team getting an opportunity to play at regionals. They also had one golfer in particular make it to states, Max Cranford. And not everyone knows what goes on in golf, let alone what they do during practice.
So we practice at Catawba Country Club in Newton, and then our warm-ups and stuff to practice is we all gather around and putt a little bit, and then Whitener, the coach, he'll send us out and we qualify, or we either practice 9 holes.
While a relatively calm environment, golf can be just as stressful as any other sport, with your mental state being one of your strongest weapons.
For me, it's mainly just mental stuff, trying to calm myself and not let my nerves get the best of me, because being in golf, you can always, it's like playing yourself, because if you get in your head, you have a bad day, so you have to learn just to kind of be mentally prepared for anything and just get out of your own head.
The women's soccer team had an impressive season last year, holding a 10-5-5 record, 6-4-4 in the conference, 5th overall. Led by Coach Elliott, the team is looking to make the playoffs once again, and this time cut even further into it. There are 11 players on the field, each having a specific role to play in a system built to win.
I play in midfield, and the key is to kind of hold the team together. You're just in the middle, kind of taking control.
It's never easy to stay focused, especially when losing. It takes a strong mind to stay mentally capable of continuing to fight when down.
I try to make it seem like we're not losing or it's still tied, to not get nervous or panic, especially if there's still time left. We have nothing to panic about because we can always come back.
That covers all the spring sports for this season, making for a very entertaining finish to our year. Schedules for these sports are being posted on the WAG every week, so make sure that you're keeping up to date with that. Also, spring sports passes are now on sale, with the student pass being $50, the individual pass being $60, and the family pass being $220. These are valid for home games only and cannot be used at a conference or state game, meet, or match. Now, back to you, Heather.
Thanks, Alex. With spring sports being in season, that means it's also around the time for our nursing fundamentals class to have their annual shaving lesson when students and staff come in to get a clean shave. Anthony was there to get all the details.
Roughly around, I'd like to say, a month and some change ago, I too did shave once. And it was such a profound and life-changing moment that I forgot to do it again until now. But today, that all changes. I'm a new man. I'm a new person. I'm a new face. Am I going to change? Probably not a lot, if I'm being real. But I'm going to look different. That means I, myself, am going to be different. It's going to be a new era of me.
Every year, our nursing fundamental students cover an unconventional skill to learn here at school, shaving. On February the 9th of last month, nursing fundamental students went around the school to look for participants to help them practice this unnoticed but important skill to help them prepare for clinicals. I talked to a student and our very own Miss Bullock to ask them how they prepared for that Thursday.
We shaved balloons, and the objective was to not let the balloon pop.
First, we discuss what they need to do and how they need to do that, and go over all of the rules for it and the steps. And then we actually get out a balloon, and they put shaving cream on the balloon, and if they can shave the balloon without popping the balloon, then that's a score for them.
They didn't just shave balloons all day, however. 8 nursing fundamental students teamed up to help tackle the task of recruiting and shaving 10 students, all with 0 accidental cuts or scrapes.
We had a partner, and one person shaved one side of the face and the other shaved the other side. So before we started shaving, we had to get our station ready, and we would fill up a basin with water and get our towels, razors, shaving cream, so we would be ready for that person.
We all did a little bit of everything, but we also decided that since we didn't have as many people come in, we did 2 people to 1 person, so me and one of my friends decided to do 1 person at a time. So one of us did one side and one of us did the other.
Usually, I just have the nursing fundamental students, word of mouth, go out and try to recruit people to come in. I also let our administration know, because Mr. Westmoreland and Mr. Schrader are really good to be involved with this, and our custodian, Bobby, will usually come in. Otherwise, it's just them recruiting students in.
While they worked together as a team, as individuals, they all had different perspectives about that Thursday. And while shaving's usefulness is clear in a fundamental student's career, Kinsley Payne sees its use outside of the workforce.
Maybe when I get older, if my parents struggle with doing things themselves, such as my dad, maybe having to do it on him one day.
Thank you, Ms. Bullock and the rest of the Nursing Fundamentals team for all you did that Thursday. Now, back to you, Heather.
Thanks, Anthony. It's great to see people involved. Juniors, make sure to get a lot of sleep and a good breakfast, because tomorrow is your ACT. Well, that's all for this episode, and we'll see you the next. This week is National School Breakfast Week, and to celebrate, this week on Wednesday, we will have a parfait with Fruit Loops as our entree.